Listen to the sound of footsteps in the dark, to voices that may not be quite human, to the sound of screams in the night. The Haunted Cabaret, the home of all things horror, on Rhode with your host, George Garner. The Haunted Cabaret starts now.
California air, your nightgown on the stair. I remember every night, scenes from home in the quiet room. How long have I been gone? Did winter kill the love? And all those Polaroids you sent are on the wall in the quiet room. They've got this place where they've been keeping me, where I can't hurt myself, I can't get my wrist to bleed, just don't know why. Suicide appeals to me. Plastic forks and spoons, no laces in my shoe. They all know what I tried to do outside the quiet room. On the floor, no handles on the door. I really need nothing more. I'm alone.
All right, that was Alice Cooper, The Quiet Room, from the very underrated Alice Cooper CD, From the Inside. A big favorite of my co-host Chuckles the Clown.
Thank you for that gift, by the way.
That is your Christmas gift.
I appreciate that more than anything you could have got me from one of the stores. So thank you.
Excellent. I am your host, as always, George Garner. This is the Haunted Cabaret Christmas edition. And I think I'm going to devote this special live Christmas Haunted Cabaret to the idea of mental illness and diseases. How about if we do that?
So it's all dedicated to me?
No, it's not all dedicated to you. You can participate. Obviously you get a share in the glory.
Yep.
Actually, maybe I should start off this episode by saying the doctor is in. Did I not cure you of some kind of psychological malady earlier this week, connected with some alien tumors that were growing in your flesh?
You did, and I'll keep that on the down low. But you were right. You definitely were right about that.
I was. Well, that's because I've seen enough movies that involve, alien infestation to know when my co-host has such a problem.
I just couldn't allow a human disease to take me down like that. I had to make sure.
Well, I think those things that they took out of you are still in test tubes at the Johns Hopkins Research Laboratory, where they're trying to decide if it's a human disease or not.
It's not nice to talk about my children like that.
The truth has come out on the Haunted Cabaret. He has only uttered those words as of now because I have tricked them out of him.
Yeah, not nice, man. They call them freak shows, whatever you want to call them. Those are my love child.
Well, the only question remaining then is, who is the other parent, let's say?
Well,
was this kind of a Lovecraftian creature thing, or was this kind of a, you just went wandering in the crypt and something grabbed a hold of you? Or
here we go. It never fails. Only here on a Haunted Cabaret do I talk about necrophilia. No other shows. But I have to say, the lady was supposed to be dead.
Okay.
And by all means, she did die and then somehow gave birth. I don't know. Don't know how it happened. Ghoulie. I don't know.
I think what happened is that this wasn't a human cadaver. I mean, I think this was one of those rare cases of an alien infestation of our planet. They lie in wait. I mean, this has happened. It's rare. Now, granted, it's actually you've been, let's say, privileged, because this has happened before, but it's very rare. One of these creatures, it imitates a female cadaver to attract your basic necrophiliac. That would be Chuckles the Clown. Because these little alien fetuses only incubate in dead flesh and clown flesh. It's a very unique infestation.
Wow.
That's why they haven't conquered the Earth already, because it takes a hell of a long time to find enough clowns to incubate in.
Well, there we have it. Interspecies erotica mixed in with interspecies erotica necrophilia.
And alien invasion.
Wow, we have just made up a new fetish.
And a new subgenre of the horror
Someone's going to be trying to do this at the next fetish night.
They are.
You watch. There's going to be dead aliens on the side of the bar.
Especially because sooner or later, I mean, we're going to be involved in the next fetish night. Right? So we're going to, wherever that might be. Where's it been lately? Manchester 65 in West Warwick, Rhode Island, right?
Yep, and it's going to be December 26th for all you listeners out there. Look it up. Sure to be a good time. There's some good-looking, attractive young ladies down there for all you single men to come down and browse.
Okay, and what we'll do is we'll keep in touch with Johns Hopkins Medical Laboratories, find out what the incubation period is for those creatures. Hopefully, Chuckles the Clown can premiere one of his love children, interspecies alien love children, at the very next fetish night at Manchester 65. Will you do that for us?
You got it. I will have that child there, and I will take pictures to prove that child was there.
Awesome. Okay, let's get back to the music momentarily before we leap into the, shall we say, proverbially the body of the show. How about a little Beheading of a King, Amon Amarth, here on the Haunted Cabaret on Rhode Island Free Radio.
On horseback with a spear.
right. That was Amon Amarth, Beheading of a King. I thought that was a little appropriate because, I've said this before and I'll say it again, that when you just listen to the evening news or go online for what's going on in the world, it usually resembles the Haunted Cabaret these days. We are the home of all things horror, all things demented, I guess, would be the subset of that. But, sometimes there's just not that much difference between this show and the headline news. Chuckles, would you agree with that?
What is that statement? Art sometimes imitates life, or life imitates art, something like that?
Something like that. It seems to definitely be going both ways. The latest is, what's this? Something about 2 policemen were killed in their police car by basically a nut.
There was no nice way of saying it. These guys were executed. There was no way they could have fought for themselves. These guys were executed in a cowardly fashion.
Right. In other words, they were sitting in the police car, regardless of what anybody thinks of the police. Pro or con, whatever. That's beside the point. The point is that basically somebody out of the best horror slasher psychotic film tradition just walked up in real. Well, and I say real life, I'm saying? On the Haunted Cabaret, that's always in quotation marks, real life. But in this world in which we're walking and breathing, as opposed to the cinematic world, somebody with all the qualifications of, choose your psychotic, basically just walked up to the police car and executed them. And I think I've said this before in a couple of blogs over at the competitors before I moved to the much friendlier environment of Rhode Island Free Radio. My theory on this, and this is just further proof of it, is that reality, consensus reality, let's put it that way, and fiction are just blurring their edges. In other words, there's less difference than there used to be, and soon there will be no difference at all between horror fiction, media fiction, what we see on film and what we see in the printed word, what we see on the internet as fiction, and what's going on in real life. I think that's my end of the year holiday big idea, thought out suggestion.
Right. And the best thing about this, George? This horror movie has a happy ending for all us horror fans.